All right, everyone, so we have Jae here, who is the designer of this project. Jae, thank you so much for sitting down with us, answering a few of our questions that we have for you. This design of this property is very unique because when I read the initial description, it said Japanese-inspired modern farmhouse. I feel like those words generally don't come together. So tell me a little bit about the Japanese inspiration that you have within this home.
I designed the home to have Japanese inspiration. And what that means is if referencing the wall materials, the stone choices, the various different things throughout the house, they all sort of subtly reference the Japanese culture and come back to underpin the overall concept of the house. Gotcha.
Tell me some of the Japanese textures that we saw throughout the day as we were doing this tour. Obviously, you have a lot of stone details, a lot of sushigiban applied vertical paneling details. Can you tell us a little bit about those textures?
Well, I chose the materials here to be both warm visually and accessible tactily. So you want to touch them. And you feel the natural sort of essence of them, the graining in the wood, the texture in the stone. The shu sugiban, that's at various different positions in the house, the garages, the front door, and then different
exterior
cladding, different satellite areas throughout the first and second floor, is an ancient technique of burning and brushing, where they burn the wood and then they brush a layer out, a soft layer out, and then burn it again, and they repeat that until you get to a deep ember. And you have various different various different versions of it, whereas on the door you have, or on the siding here, you have a deeper version, and on the mantle you have a lighter version. So we're showing also that process going from a natural piece of wood to a dark piece of wood.
That almost a charcoal look, basically.
That's correct, which also, in addition to looking great and accentuating the wood grain, also seals the wood and protects it. That's right.
Now, I want to talk about this grand foyer. You call it Butterfly Pavilion.
The Butterfly Pavilion.
Which is a really unique name. And right behind us, we have this beautiful book match that resembles the butterfly.
Correct.
But I need you to explain to our audience where the inspiration for this room and this name came from.
The inspiration for the Butterfly Pavilion is an abstract one. I do mountain running in the Santa Monica Mountains. Usually once a year, you've been running, after you've been running about an hour uphill, the endorphins are buzzing around your brain. Everything becomes larger than life. The sky is blue, the rocks, the shadows on the rocks are dramatic, everything is enhanced. One particular trip, I came coming down the mountain, and the trail in front of me, thousands of butterflies lift off the ground at the same time. I guess it was a wintering season for the butterflies, which they come because of the climate. We don't have a big swing in temperature. They come and they stay all year long. They rest during the winter here. And they're on the ground lifting up, and I'm running suddenly with a bunch of endorphins, running through a cloud of butterflies. And the sky, the mountains, the butterflies, it's an overwhelming experience. And so at some point I earmarked that for somewhere I needed to recreate this. And with Onan, with the double height space, and with the sky accessible on both sides, and the sort of open atrium, it was the perfect application.
Amazing, amazing. Honestly, I love that sliding glass doors automatically opens up to the outdoors. Straight from your front door, you go straight to the backyard, which is amazing. So Jae, as I was looking through the property information and reading the property description, I came across a sentence. I don't know where it was, but it said, designed and constructed with an appreciation for the past, a mindset in the present, and a vision for the future. That's a bold statement, but it's a very well thought out statement too. Explain to our audience how you apply that perspective to your designs.
Well, how that applies to my design perspective is, in this case, in the case of Onan, we have underpinnings from ancient Japan with the material choices, the simplicity, the openness, the textures, and the flow. The fact that we are wrapping all these elements into a sort of basic or farmhouse sort of envelope, which is farmhouses are at their roots. The philosophies are symbiotic. In that a farmhouse at its roots is a utilitarian structure. It's been sort of deconstructed to sort of the basics, the things that you need. It's not overly cluttered. And I found that the farmhouse definition fit very nicely into with the sort of Japanese philosophy of minimalism. And so those two things went very well together. And as far as going forward, referencing the future, a lot of different interpretations of farmhouses have arrived at the market.
Correct.
There's more traditional ones. There are, we do pitched roofs and a few textural
some industrial
surfaces,
textures to it.
Some industrial, and we call it a farmhouse. But no one, after sort of understanding the market, no one had really done a Japanese farmhouse.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we're putting these two words together. And it's fascinating, and honestly, like you said, it works really well. They go really well with each other because Japanese influence really has that minimalism, let the textures do the talk. And modern farmhouse generally captivates a lot of these modern warm textures that we're used to seeing with the hardwood floors and all that. So they go really well together. Before we continue our interview with Jae Omar, I want to thank Truebill for sponsoring this week's video. Do you struggle keeping up with your personal finances, or do you wish to have a better understanding and control over your monthly expenditures? If so, you should definitely check out Truebill, which can help you save more and spend less. Truebill is an all-in-one personal finance app that enables you to track your earnings and spending across all your accounts. The app makes it easy for you to create personalized budgets, track and manage subscriptions, and monitor your credit score. Through Truebill, you can also automate your savings and use the app to negotiate bills on your behalf, which can really elevate the way you handle your finances. I started using this app a few months ago, and it really made dealing with money simpler for me. Thanks to Truebill, I now have better understanding of my account activities and feel more at ease about where my money is going. I use the app to set budgets, and it automatically monitors my spending by category. It even sends me a notification whenever I exceed my budget. I also love that I get a visualized spend-to-earn ratio by month, quarter, and year. Another feature that I love, which is a lifesaver, is that the app allows you to track and cancel subscriptions. With this feature, I never have to worry about paying money for an unwanted subscription that I forgot to cancel. I also really benefit from the credit score monitoring feature. With complete access to my credit reports and history, the Truebill app alerts me of all the important changes that impact my credit score and offers insights on how I can improve it. The tools and the resources this app offers is truly amazing, and you can download it for free by heading to truebill.com/NS+, or you can click the link in the description of this video. Again, thank you Truebill for sponsoring this video, and now let's go back to our interview. Now, I want you to talk about the minimalism aspect of this home, because although it's really well furnished, like this grand foyer or some of the other rooms that we toured, your furniture setup or your accessories are very minimal. Obviously, that's by design, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
And that's really going for your Japanese influence, right?
That's correct. That's correct. The idea behind minimalist furnishings within the home, we didn't want to distract from the architectural features. We wanted to complement them and provide items that were also in line with the overall philosophy, like the table. It's a root. It's a tree root. Makes sense in this general context.
Gotcha. Now, looking at the property, I'm going to put my contractor glasses on now. Seeing this steep hillside.
Yes.
And the driveway comes from the street. It's nice because the house is really nicely set back from the street also for the privacy purposes. And looking to the backyard, the rake of this lot is quite intense. So obviously, you guys probably moved a lot of dirt out of this property to level it off. But the way the backyard is layered off is actually really well use of this lot. Again, considering the steep hillside. Tell me some of the challenges you guys run here and why you decided to break it into two different sections rather than, let's say, pushing it all the way back and creating one big backyard.
So the hillside that you see here came down to about the center of the backyard as you now see it. We made the decision to use, by code, two retaining walls, one in the upper level at 10 feet and one in the bottom level at 10 feet. On this level, it's the waterfall, the 65-foot book-matched waterfall. On the upper level, it gives us a beautiful deep space in which to have the bocce court, the guest house, and the private garden that comes off of the primary suite.
That's correct. Super cool also, the primary bedroom suite balcony. You did a nice board form concrete. Again, talking about different textures. That was a nice, light, kind of pop of color almost, because I don't think I've seen another space that had a board form concrete wall besides that. Now I want to talk about the primary bedroom suite. We have seen a lot of big primary bedrooms on our channel. And a lot of times when they're really big, they almost look kind of off because it's so hard to nail your details and make the space feel comfortable and make the scale kind of make sense almost. Because when they're too big, they're just too big. Somehow, in your primary bedroom suite, although the size is incredible, it feels very warm, it feels very inviting, and it didn't feel, almost I want to say absurd, because it was so, I need you to explain your vision, because with the oak screens, you have the balcony, and you have two massive walk-in closets. It's truly, I think, the biggest primary bedroom suite we've ever seen on this channel.
Thank you. The design of the primary suite, and of all the primary suites that I've designed this year alone, this is by far my favorite. And you've identified a good point. It's difficult to maintain a sense of warmth and intimacy when you have, in this case, 3,500 plus square feet, which is the size, essentially the size of a home.
Good size home.
It's a good size home. It's bigger than my home, right? So the idea is that in the natural world, things, the earth, the trees, the sky, the mountains, they're independent and sometimes fiercely independent, but they're also interdependent. The ocean crashes upon the shores of the beach. The sky gives way to the mountains. And so in design, the walls are the channeled oak slatting, and they are open over the doors, the door areas, and then closed over the wall sections, each one independent, yet interdependent on the whole. And the connectivity between the wall cladding, the ceiling, and then the repeat of those materials throughout your traffic pattern, or the traffic pattern of the area, or your travel path of travel.
Or the hallways.
That's correct. Is repeated, bringing a sense of well-being and comfort visually.
Almost relatability, as if like you're carrying the entire space together.
That's exactly right.
Amazing, amazing. This is probably the question I want to answer of the most. When you use unique materials and you try to merge that into modern design elements, it's generally a pretty hard task to pull off. Like I'm looking at your kitchen cabinetry, and you have very sleek modern designs, but yet your drawers have a live edge in your vanities in the bathrooms. Or, you know, the whole Shushigiban implication to a really nice marble-clad fireplace. How do you merge these different type of materials together and make them work? Because I think that's what differentiates a designer to a really talented designer. The design philosophy behind combining these various materials and doing so in such a way that they're able to find a harmony or a balance goes back to a term that you may have heard, wabi-sabi. I have heard that.
Which is it's not so much a philosophy, but a way that shows and appreciates materials throughout the path of travel of their life. So you may have a beautiful white oak, clean cut cabinet door, and then you would have it open grain on the floor. Then you would have it burnt on the mantle. You might have it segmented on the screens, but it's the same material that's being evidenced in a full spectrum. And so this conveys warmth and conveys simplicity. Tonally, we're able to keep everything in harmony.
Uniformed.
That's right, which is very difficult. You have different woods, different materials. There's always an undertone. You add stain, something changes. In this case, using this basic principle, we're able to create a harmonious environment.
Amazing. So Jae, before this interview, I had a chance to spend a little bit of time with you, and now during the interview, you have such a calm and kind of peaceful presence. And I feel like the industry itself, construction, design, high-end development, there's a lot of stress involved, and it's almost hard to keep yourself at a calm presence. How do you manage to stay this calm and well thought out? I'm impressed, that's why I wanted to ask.
Well, you should have seen me 5 hours ago. It's a good question. The most important thing when entering any of these projects is keeping your eye on the outcome. That's what's important.
Sure.
Not the personalities or the difficulties in between, but getting to the end of the road and delivering an exceptional property. I remind myself of that every time I walk on the job site. I do a little meditation in my car. I come in, and I'm immediately barraged, generally speaking, by anywhere between 10 and 20 people who have a different agenda than I do. I have to be firm. I have to draw on my experiences earlier in my life, coming from a rough neighborhood sometimes, from some amateur fights and work in combat sports, in order to maintain control, which, as difficult as it is to say, the more control you have, the better the outcome.
Absolutely, and it reflects your communication, and it probably allows you to work more in harmony with all the people that you have to work together with to pull off a project like this.
That's correct. That's correct. And if I don't have a strong objective, and if I come onto the site unsure of what I want to do or easily moved in any one direction or not, and that happens, I would never be able to deliver a product like Onan.
Fair enough. Lastly, I wanted to ask, because how did you want people to feel as they walk into this property? Because it's so unique in a sense that it's a modern farmhouse, but the whole envelope has been really customized through the Japanese aesthetics, walls of glass. I just wanted to hear from you, how do you want people to feel as they walked into this property?
That's a great question. How I want people to feel when they walk into the Butterfly Pavilion at Onan is I want them to have a balance of awe and tranquility in equal parts. And if I've missed that, either one of those, I haven't done my job properly.
Amazing. Well, Jae, thank you so much for sitting down with us during this interview. We really appreciate it. And you built something truly one of a kind here. So I want to congratulate you for that.
Thank you very much. It was great to be with you.